Yeah, thank you. Also from my side, a warm welcome to this Delta Trends Day. I will today, as Tato already introduced, talk about accounting in light of internet-based technologies. Yeah, and when I talk about accounting, I take a very broad approach. Yeah, I'm not talking about bookkeeping as such, but just the accounting function. And in practice, you actually often don't talk about the accounting function, but the finance function. So everything that is kind of under the CFO's kind of domain. Yeah, and this we discuss now in the light of internet-based technologies or digitalization broadly. So what I will do is I will first introduce this digital finance function. What is it really? Then I look into what are the trends that kind of push for the adoption of being more digital. Then we look at some use cases. Yeah, what can this function do? How can accounting become more digital? And what can accounting provide as a decision-making tool? And finally, I do also go into, how can you score a job there, right? Because we're in university, we also look for employment for our graduates. But with no further ado, let's go right into what is the digital finance function. And if we talk about the digital finance function, it is what's called a swift, a highly automated finance function, which focuses on delivering insights rather than processing transactions. And if you think about accounting as such, often the prejudice is that it's just about transaction processing, just getting data in, getting data out. But if you actually think about it, accounting is a tool for decision making. And the people who work in accounting facilitate these decisions. So how does the digital finance function work? So we have highly standardized data and systems. This is the basis for it. If you don't have that, it's time to invest, I would say. This standardization can then lead to a higher degree of process speed. We have faster processes because the data is available right away. And once we have faster processes, we can free up time of the people who work on the finance functions, the accountants, the controller, the CFO, to provide decision support, insight-driven decision making. And you can of course believe me, but maybe it's better to look at the survey. We can actually look at a survey quite recently conducted by PwC, which asked finance functions across Europe whether digitalization has a high priority in them. And you can see like the 5, the 6, the 7s here on the chart. Yes, it does. And if we want to also know for what companies, we can sort them by size. And even by size, you can see almost all sizes have a very high interest in this. Basically all of them. Most interestingly, of course, the big companies, they have more resources. They have also more to gain from digitalization. But that also doesn't stop with smaller ones and mid-sized ones, right? So if we think then about where does this idea come from? What drives this adoption of the digital finance function? So let's first look at some trends. And after we discuss the trends, we can actually discuss into what it is, what insights can we derive. So it's kind of a messy chart, but I will just guide you through the different symbols here, what they might mean. So let's start in the top left with this cloud, So what we can actually see is that many different cloud services have started to consolidate, right? There have been many acquisitions by SAP and many other companies that create packages of softwares that we can use as a service. So this also makes it more accessible. You don't have to invest into capital expenditures anymore, but you move these costs into the operating expenditures part. On the second thing, we have these formations of platform frameworks and enterprise softwares for cloud marketplaces where we can add different kinds of modules into this very easily. So it becomes more and more easy to derive different kinds of insight-driven decision settings. Then we can go into increased integration of enterprise softwares. So different kinds of enterprise softwares talk to each other more and more. They're sort of facilitated by AI and so on. So if we now take these together, we can actually see that from the cloud perspective, things are becoming to take shape and become accessible. If we then move down to the little robot there have also been a lot of advances in machine learning, right? This allows for different kinds of things, such as being more efficient with our processes, so taking away transaction processing and making this digital, and freeing more time again. If we then on the lower left corner go into the mobile device there, Yeah, we also not just have information more accessible and quicker available, but we also have real-time analytics via mobile and web access. Yeah, so analytics becomes accessible to people on the ground. I think a very good example is the Kone Corporation and their elevator maintenance guys. Yeah, these people have on their phones already all the data that an elevator might spit out to decide how they can do the maintenance and so on. Then we can go to this database symbol. Yeah, so digitalization is not just allowing to the processing of data, but it creates data by itself. Yeah, data, the foundation for all this to work. And finally, the data is created through automated capture of data, such as electronic invoicing and so on. Yeah, so these are kind of the large meta trends that kind of govern this whole idea. So if we now kind of classify them and map them onto the digital finance function, what is that really then? Yeah, and if we can do that, let's start here with the green one. Yeah, the green one is kind of that the finance function has as its disposal cloud-based ERP systems, internet-based technologies that enable this whole thing for a wide range of companies and settings. This also allows us to execute robotic process automation solutions, making processes more efficient. No humans involved anymore in many of these tasks. Much fewer errors, much higher speed. If we go to the orange one, we have machine learning and AI, which allows for more automated decisions, early warning systems, predictions, core tasks of an accountant and controller. And finally, we have all this data analytics, which supports decisions, like I just said. Now let's go into more detail here, actually. What processes are then affected? So if you look at accountants actually, as I said, don't just do bookkeeping, So the different tasks in the digital finance function are actually quite manifold, They range from strategic planning, over operational planning, forecasting, cost and performance evaluations, management reporting, management reporting maybe being a classic here, what you would associate with accounting, investment controlling, risk management, all these different things. And you can see here, all these factors here in red and also in gray, these are the ones that will be impacted by digitalization the most. So across this whole spectrum of different accounting tasks, we have impacts which we can spot. So I hope you got now some idea what actually drives the digital finance function, these trends underlying. And you can't really say no anymore, It's just there. And if you're not on the train, then the train leaves without you, so to say. So let's look at some use cases of these internet-based technologies. And from this, I show you once more little statistics of where companies currently are, This is quite recent study from the Modern Finance Forum, and that shows that actually many companies are still stuck in this age where they don't even have control over their data, Data is kind of, data is not even collected properly. This is about 20% of the company. Then you have companies that actually are pretty good in data collection, but the data is siloed, so they don't have access, they cannot combine it. So you already have almost 50% of companies that cannot really access the whole data wealth at their disposal. And then you have 40% of companies which actually have already some kind of data properly packaged and so on, but they are not on top of their softwares. So basically we have 78% of companies that are kind of stuck. They're not yet there to start growing. So this leaves us to the last part, right? The remaining 22%, which are actually companies which are approaching this data mastery. So this is where we are currently. And this is also the goal of many financial institutions, to become, well, not financial institutions, all finance functions to become more AI-driven and so on. So what does this mean in practice? Just very briefly, in practice actually means that we have a symbiosis, a symbiosis of a classic accountant and of a data scientist. So these people need to talk to each other. They kind of need to become the same person. So if you think about yourself, developing yourselves into this direction, it makes sense to also acquire some analytic capabilities. So what are then the reasons for finance function people to invest? We kind of covered that, right? It's on the one hand cost reduction, it's a big one, But on the other hand, even bigger, as you can see here on average, it's improved decision making. Everybody wants to make better decisions. So what are these decisions that we can then make better? Yeah, I'll now provide you some rough classifications here. Yeah? So if we have a lot of data, we can actually ask different kinds of questions, especially if the data is integrated. Yeah, we can, for example, ask for classifications. Yeah, is this A or B? So a common task in the finance function is to assess the creditworthiness of customers, right? You don't want to sell to customers that are not creditworthy. Yeah, so having a whole host of data on specific customer behaviors and different kinds of customer data, we can actually make this decision. Is this a A customer to keep or a B customer not to serve? This kind of things, yeah? We have other things which can ask us, how much is it? Yeah, a simple example is a valuation model. Yeah, we can have very quickly populating valuation models these days, which allow us to make quicker decisions on whether to go in a certain direction or not. Yeah, we can also look at, for example, customer values. Should we serve this customer? Yeah, today unprofitable, but in the future probably profitable. Yeah, if they have a reference value, if they intend to grow. Yeah, we can also check how things are organized. Yeah, how is the data organized? This is very useful if you want to, for example, check a peer group. Yeah, you can check what companies are closer to you, closer to your products, these kind of things. Yeah. You can also look at different accounts. Yeah, what are receivables which might go bad? Yeah, these kind of classifications can be done much more quickly. We can also check for things in the light of, is this weird? Yeah, so anomaly detection. Yeah, you can detect fraud more easily in your company if cash just goes missing, right? Or if you have fraudulent transactions. Yeah, transactions that the credit card company might recall, these kind of things. And finally, we can answer questions like, what should we do next? Yeah, we have a lot of bots kind of supporting what we're going to do and telling us on the phone, like I discussed before, how shall we do certain things? Yeah, this can start with general structuring of finance function tasks where people can in the company ask what are the underlying drivers of this market, and then this bot can provide you this data. You don't have to call up a controller anymore, or you need a physical person. This data is just right on your fingertips. Yeah, so you can see many different questions are available to us at a much higher degree of certainty if we actually have a digital finance function. So this then leaves us to how does this reflect actually on employment, right? Again, we are a university here, so part of the audience is surely interested in how can we get a job in these kind of things, take advantage of this. And for this, I can take a study from Germany, but I'm sure it's also applicable to Estonia and many other markets, from the Controller Forum, which has been done at the WHU University Controller Panel, which asks different kinds of CFOs and controllers and important people how this could work. And here on this graphic, you can see what kind of skills are currently not available to these finance functions. What are they looking for? And you can see all the red ones here are where finance functions currently feel we are lacking this. Yeah, we want to hire these. We have to find people here. And you can see that a lot of these red and yellow colors are in the lower left corner. Right? Technology and analytics expertise. And by that I don't mean you have to become a real programmer, master all these models and Python and whatnot and be like a data crack. No, but you have to be able to communicate in their language. Yeah? You have to be able, for example, to use ChatGPT and ask the right question for ChatGPT to help you run a certain regression model or an Excel macro. Yeah, you need to have the general picture of how you can make use of all this. If you have this general picture, you can use your data analysts and your and ChatGPT and other tools that can help you run this. Yeah, and with this, I think I'm already done with my keynote talk. We went through what is a digital finance function, right? We looked at the trends driving it. There are a lot of trends governing this whole idea. We looked at different use cases. How are these finance functions? How is accounting developing? And finally, hopefully, you got some idea of how you can position yourself over the next year or two to score one of these jobs, which can be very interesting and very attractive. So thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of your Delta Trends days.
Thank you, David, very much for a good start of our day. And we will see you at the end of the day at a discussion panel. But for the audience, I would like to kindly remind you that the workshop platform with the title Delta Trends Day 2024, you can leave your questions and comments. If you have any ideas, you could share with us as well. So, David, please, since our Delta Trends Day combines digitalization and sustainability, how those two broad topics actually are interconnected or linked?
Yeah, great question, thanks. So actually there's a very strong linkage, I think, between sustainability and digitalization. Yeah, if you think about sustainability and sustainability accounting, this is a lot about measurement once more, right? You need to make tangible, put it into numbers, what sustainability really is. So this is about how can we collect a whole host of data to put a number to things. And digitalization can, of course, help you there, right? You can get bigger access to, more access to different kinds of sustainability-related data. A good example, for example, is forest health. Yeah, if you look at companies like in Finland, Stora Enso or UPM, they own large forests for their wood production, and they need to monitor whether these forests are healthy, right, to report on them. And instead of sending people there to investigate every tree, you can actually, from a satellite image, already detect what areas of trees are suffering, what areas of trees are doing well, and so on. And like this, you don't have to put so much money and effort. So we get more validation. And on the other hand, it's a lot of work to create sustainability accounting. So we need accountants that have the time to do it, right? If we can actually digitalize a lot, we can free up more time for these accountants to focus on this new sustainability accounting, which will for sure occupy the finance functions for the next 5 to 10 years, given the new EU taxonomy and the EU push to report more.
So it seems that for accountants there is much to learn, and also the work field is rather fuzzy, but it seems promising that we can capture those sustainability-related issues and topics that influence all of us at the societal level or environmental level. So it's something that we all need to gather. Let me check, do we have some questions already? Not yet, but we will see you at the end of the day. So if anyone has a question during the day, you can leave it on our workshop platform, and we would be happy to share or answer those questions as well. Thank you very much, David, for your speech, and see you at the end of the day.
Yeah, thanks, Kato, for inviting.